The sudden withdrawal of the U.S. Navy's Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier from the battlefield and its failure to provide military support to the exhausted and defeated American forces in the West Asia region, along with their own internal struggles, proved the hollowness of the material power of the arrogant global powers. Sparta says, these military colossus and monster that you constantly boast about for Iran's armed forces is nothing but a paper and straw scarecrow.
The words are sharp, the message unmistakable. In a chilling escalation, Iran has issued a direct warning to the United States and its allies after what it calls a series of humiliations on the battlefield. At the center of this storm, the mighty USS Gerald R. Ford, a $13 billion symbol of American naval supremacy. Now, its reported repositioning is being seized upon by Tehran as proof of something far more explosive. Iran's military spokesman didn't hold back. The retreat of the USS Gerald Ford has proven the hollowness of the power of the arrogant. Why should a $13 billion warship fear small $1,000 speedboats? It's nothing but a paper tiger. A statement designed not just to provoke, but to project power. Because in modern warfare, perception is everything. From the narrow waters of the Gulf to the vast corridors of global power, this is no longer just about missiles and machines. It's about narrative, about dominance, about who blinks first. And then came the line that raised the stakes even higher. Saddam's fate awaits Trump and Netanyahu. A direct incendiary warning invoking the downfall of Saddam Hussein, a message aimed squarely at Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. The rhetoric is fierce, the tension palpable, as both sides trade not just firepower, but words that echo across continents. One question looms large. Is this brinkmanship or the prelude to something far more dangerous? Because in this high-stakes confrontation, every move, every message could tip the balance, and the world is watching.
The sudden withdrawal of the U.S. Navy's Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier from the battlefield and its failure to provide military support to the exhausted and defeated American forces in the West Asia region, along with their own internal struggles, proved the hollowness of the material power of the arrogant global powers. Sparta says, these military colossus and monster that you constantly boast about for Iran's armed forces is nothing but a paper and straw scarecrow. The rerouting of this vessel towards the American base and its efforts to avoid traversing the Bab al-Mandab Strait has prompted a significant question for global and regional public opinion. Why should a $13 billion American warship be so fearful and terrified of a few $1,000 speedboats belonging to the resistance forces? However, such a precarious and unstable situation has precisely in recent days occurred for another American aircraft carrier, the Abraham Lincoln, in the Indian Ocean. Islamic forces eager to deliver a harsh slap to the American warship deep in the battle zone are waiting, fully prepared to reveal naval surprises up close to the American Marines. Saddam's fate awaits Trump and the criminal Netanyahu. There is no defeat for us in this endeavor. God has closed the path of defeat before us. Do you see more than two paths ahead of us? Both paths are glorious for us. One is the path of martyrdom, whose glory is eternal, constant and everlasting. And the other is the path of victory, both of which are considered a triumph for us. And victory comes from no other source than Allah, the Almighty, the All-Wise.
Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, struck a firm and defiant tone in his latest address. In a message marking Nowruz, he declared that Iran was prevailing against its adversaries and had delivered a dizzying blow in the ongoing confrontation with the United States and Israel. The statement underscores Tehran's narrative of resilience and strength as tensions remain high and the conflict continues to intensify across the region.
This war took shape after the enemy had lost hope of a significant popular movement in its favor and under the illusion that if it could eliminate the head of the system and a number of influential military figures, it would create fear and despair among you, our dear people, causing you to withdraw from the field and thereby enabling it to realize its dream of dominating Iran and subsequently fragmenting it. You had previously suppressed the coup on the 22nd of Day and on the 22nd of Bahman once again demonstrated your opposition to global arrogance or oppression and your tireless resolve. And on the 22nd of Esfand, which coincided with Quds Day, by delivering this blow, you made it understand that it is not dealing merely with missiles, drones, and military means. The front line of Iran is far greater than its narrow and insignificant perception. Finally, in this section, following the example of our great and martyred leader, I hereby declare this year's slogan to be a resistance economy under the shadow of national unity and national security. For the occasion of the arrival of the solar year 1405, I have remarks to present, which I will outline below. First, I will briefly review some of the important events of the past year. In the past year, our dear people experienced 3 military security wars. The second war was the day-month coup, in which the United States and the Zionist regime, assuming that the people of Iran would act in line with the enemy's aims due to the imposed economic difficulties, used their agents to create widespread catastrophe. They martyred an even greater number of our dear compatriots compared to the previous war and inflicted extensive damage.
In contrast, Donald Trump has asserted that Washington's operations in Iran are progressing extremely well.
I want to begin by just saying we're doing extremely well in Iran. The difference between them and us is they had a Navy 2 weeks ago. They have no Navy anymore. It's all at the bottom of the sea. 58 ships knocked down in 2 days. And we have the greatest Navy anywhere in the world. It's not even close. But we are doing really well. We're not going to let them have nuclear weapons, because if they had them, they'd use them, and we're not going to let that happen. Should have been done a long time ago by other presidents. Don't forget, we had Venezuela. That was the beginning where people started to see the talent. I rebuilt the military and built it, frankly, including Space Force. But I rebuilt the military in my first term. I didn't think I'd be using it this much, but I'm glad I rebuilt it, because we can't let these lunatics have nuclear weapons, because they were going to use them. They'd use them fast. One of the ways you know that is when this whole thing started, they started shooting missiles all over the Middle East at countries that were basically not involved, because they wanted to take over the Middle East. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. The only question would have been the first hour or the first day. That's the only question. They would have used it. And if they can use a nuclear weapon, the world would have been in big trouble. We had to stop. It should have been done long ago.